What's up, YouTube? It's been a while, 4 or 5 months since I posted my last video. Sorry about the glare. I'm in a car driving, obviously. I stopped at a rest stop and happened to browse through some of my comments every now and then, just see what people are posting, see how people are doing. I'm doing great, never better. Just been busy with work and everything else. Hope everybody is fighting the good fight and staying clean. I just wanted to post this video and kind of talk about Suboxone once again, like I have in several of my other videos. The first video I posted was in November or December of 2016, and I described pretty in depth on how I did it. You know, the taper process. I was on Suboxone for 5 years, and it took me 2 years to taper. And some of the comments, people on there, oh, you obviously didn't taper, or you weren't on it long enough, or blah 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 blah. Look, it boils down to this. I was a fucking drug addict with my 5 years of Suboxone usage included for about 12 years. Started in my teenage years, and it spiraled out of control to the point where I was spending about $400 a week on pills. I make decent money. It got to the point where I lost my life because of pills, because of drugs. And when I found Suboxone, it did help me. It did. And some of you people are just straight up fucking arrogant, you know? Suboxone helped because I wasn't spending $400 a week on pills anymore. On a good week, I was spending $400. On a bad week, I was spending $200-300. I mean, it was out of control. Anything I could get my hands on. Oxys, Roxys, Percocets, Lortabs. I mean, even Xanax, Valium, you name it. I was a pill-popping machine. Snorted heroin, never shot it, never shot anything. I'm not saying I'm a saint because of that, so don't blast me in the comments, but nonetheless, I was just there. There you have it. I was hooked, and I got to the realization that my doctor is not going to help me taper. This is something I'm going to have to do myself. If I want to be clean, if I want to get off of this shit, I have to do it myself, and I started cutting back. There was a time when I was prescribed 3 8-milligram strips a day, and it was a Lortab high all over again. And as time went on, I cut back, you know? So when I was on 3 8-milligram strips a day, I remember I cut out 1 of those strips a day, and then I was taking 2 strips a day, and I felt no withdrawal, no effect whatsoever after taking Suboxone for 2-3 years at this point. No effects. Took 2 strips for several months, and I started taking 1.5 strips a day. I just cut out a 0.5 milligram, or I cut out 4 milligrams a day. And then at that point, I was taking 12 milligrams a day. Didn't feel any effects. Did that for several months. Cut myself down to 1 strip a day. Felt no effect. Your body can only process so much of that shit. And doctors and psychologists sell that to you so they make money. I have researched a lot about the pharmaceutical industry, and how they prescribe methadone and Suboxone. Your body can only, it's like with hydrocodone, your body can only process, I believe on a 10 milligram Lortab pill, your body can only process 4 of those a day. So my dumbass back in the day taking 10 or 12 a day, the other 10 or 12, or the other 6 to 8 pills a day that I was taking was just fucking up my liver and kidneys. After a certain point, your body cannot process any more of it. So with Suboxone, methadone, Subutex, yes, they do help short term, but long term, when the doctors are prescribing you insane amounts of it, it's so they can make money. You're doing yourself harm. And when people make comments like, oh, you think you're God, or you think you're all special and you weren't on it long enough, you're a bullshitter. Hey, that's your own opinion. But I am here to tell you right now that your body can only process so much of it a day. That's why if you're taking 2 or 3 milligrams, 2 or 3 8 milligram strips a day, and you stop taking one of those strips, it's all psychological. Trust me, you're not going to feel it. You're not going to fucking feel it. So when I got to the point where I was taking 1 8 milligram strip a day, I did that for a while, and then I started cutting off portions of it. And then I would do that for a couple months. Then I started taking the 4 milligram strip, which is a lot. It's like double the size of an 8 milligram strip. And took that for a while, started cutting that in half. Then I went on the 2 milligram strip, started cutting little pieces off. And it was if you watch some of my other videos, I get a little bit more in depth on how I did it, but I'm telling you again how I did it. Over time, I tapered. I had a plan, I had a goal, I had a vision. I didn't want to be hooked on this shit. I didn't want to be a slave to the pharmaceutical industry and to my doctor and to the psychologists anymore who told me, I had a doctor, and I said this in a previous video several months ago, I had a doctor tell me one time, you're never going to be clean. And I'm the type of person, it's like a guy that told me 5-6 years ago when I was 280 pounds, you'll never lose all that weight. Okay, well, I lost 90 pounds in 10 months, and I've done a pretty damn good job at maintaining. And it's just something has to light a spark under your ass. Are you going to be a slave to these doctors and these psychologists, or are you going to get out here and put yourself on a goal and put yourself on a plan and have a goal to get yourself off and stay clean? It's hard. I had a muscle injury this last summer, and per my request, I didn't get any Lortabs. I got some muscle relaxers and some ibuprofen 800. Some people, you know, they say, oh, my back hurts, I need this, you're just masking pain. That's all you're doing. All that stuff it doesn't serve any purpose. You know, get your finances in order, taper off Suboxone, and it feels so good. We're in 2018. So I'm 3 years clean, and I have never felt better. It's the best feeling on earth. You know, you don't have to wake up every morning putting something under your tongue. If you put yourself on a plan, don't do a rapid taper because you'll relapse. Before, you know, I tried doing various things, rapid tapers, cold turkey, and I was sicker than a dog on the couch, shitting my pants and puking on the floor. I've been there. When I had my withdrawals off methadone, that was the worst. And it was like having the flu for a month. Suboxone, not quite severe, but it's pretty fucking bad. And if you taper, you know, if you're on 2 8 milligram strips a day, or even 1, take a year and just say, okay, for 2 months I'm going to do this, for the next 2 months I'm going to do this, for the next, and then before you know it, you're taking a sliver of 1 strip, and then you can stop, and you might have a little restless leg syndrome, you might have a hard time falling asleep for a week, but you're not going to be puking, you're not going to be shitting your pants. I'm not the only one. I've met a couple other people, and I have a buddy who tapered kind of like I did. And you guys can say what you want, think what you want, but it works. It truly works. So, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying clean. Peace.